You heard a lot, actually.
Yeah.
There. So what we're going to do right now is actually bring in our attorney here. We're joined by criminal defense attorney Steve Crone. Obviously, Amanda Salas has come back in as well.
Yes.
Steve, that was a lot to break down. It was almost hard to even take notes on everything. There was a lot to get to. So talk to me a little bit about what just happened there.
Okay, I got it for you. And I can tell you pretty quickly and pretty succinctly. They awarded $10 million to Johnny Depp against Amber Heard, excuse me, for $10 million for compensatory damages. Now, compensatory means those damages which are designed to compensate someone for their losses. If it was a car accident, you'd say, well, you had injuries, we're going to compensate you for your injuries. What they're saying is the damage that he suffered as a result of Amber Heard is $10 million. In addition to that, they awarded $5 million in punitive damages. Punitive damages are not designed to compensate someone for their losses. They are designed to punish the other party, to basically send a message, this is bad behavior, and we're not going to stand for it, and you are going to be punished. And in this case, it was to the tune of $5 million. So they awarded Johnny Depp $15 million against Amber Heard. On her case, they awarded her $2 million in compensatory damages and nothing in punitive damages. So in other words, they said her reputation suffered to the tune of $2 million, but they were not going to award anything in the neighborhood of punitive damages. They're not, in other words, they don't feel they need to send a message to Johnny Depp or his lawyer that this behavior is obnoxious and terrible and should be punished. That's it. That's really the simple answer to the whole thing.
The numbers, they came back pretty quickly with those compensatory numbers. Could that maybe have been added up because of the two films Johnny Depp lost out on once this started? And also $2 million was her salary for the sequel for Aquaman. Could this be related, those numbers be related to that?
That could be. You're never going to know unless the jury talks to people afterwards. Now, they are under a code of silence while the case is going on, while they're deliberating, while the evidence is being heard. But afterwards, they're free to talk to anybody they want. And my experience is that some jurors are happy to discuss it. Others just want to go back to their lives. They don't want the publicity. They're not happy with all the notoriety, and they may not speak out. My guess is there will be a few that will say, okay, let me tell you about what we learned and what we decided and why we came to this decision. That'll turn out within the next couple of days, is my guess.
Aren't their identities sealed, though? Their identities are sealed for a year, right?
Yes, but that doesn't mean that they can't speak out voluntarily.
Wow, okay.
So in other words, if you wanted to go find juror number 7, you would have a hard time doing it.
Unless
but if juror number 7 wants to come out and speak to reporters or just have their own impromptu press conference, they're free to do that.
Absolutely. Steve, I want to get back to this decision in here because it's interesting. You said something earlier in the show. You said, you know, no one wins in this case. We were talking to you kind of about the public perception of this, and you said no one wins in this, right? Everyone comes out with some bit of harm, at least in the public eye. And it also appears that the jury somewhat agreed with that, saying to a certain extent, both proved the other defamed one another. And I think many people have been watching this assuming that one person was going to win. And to a certain extent, you can say the person who got more money, the person who got punitive damages won. But the jury said very clearly, we believe you both proved the other defamed each other. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, there was a lot of trash that came out in this trial. Bad things about both of them. They both had, you know, incidents where they were drinking and abusive and, you know, acting horribly. And so the jury said, okay, you know, maybe because she started the whole thing by writing her letter to the newspaper, that maybe he was the guy that lost out more. You know, that's something we'll never know. But they obviously found that he got defamed more than she, and perhaps it's because he was able to show more losses as far as films than she was.
So
that's my guess.
One more thing about the money, though. So is this over, right? That's always a big question when we're talking about big money cases, especially when they go to trial. That's why one reason why settlements are typically something that lawyers, encourage you to do, because a settlement means it's over. A case, there could be appeals, and it could go on for a while. What happens next here?
That's true. And not only are there appeals, which could drag this thing out for years, but when you settle a case, generally there are non-disclosure clauses in the settlement. So, whatever harm has been done, all the bad things that each of them has done, those with a settlement, those would have remained secret. But I don't know which side or both sides said, no, I want my day in court. But by going into court, the whole world knows all of their bad behavior. And even though Johnny Depp won, I don't think he comes out of this thing looking wonderful. I think there's a lot of testimony about his behavior that is not really good for someone's reputation. I wouldn't want to have that stuff spread all over the world.
Does he get this money anytime soon? I guess $2 million of this is somewhat a wash, but we've still got $13 million
on the line.
What's the likelihood he gets this money anytime soon?
Not anytime soon.
Right.
They will appeal. In this case, I would guess it would be Amber Heard's side will appeal. If Amber Heard's side appeals, then my guess is that Johnny Depp's side will appeal the $2 million. It's going to be tied up in appeals for a long, long time.